Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey, and this is a Nitty Yanni podcast from the southwest of France. Was it really obvious that I really struggled to get that sentence out? I didn't remember what the words were or in which order they came. But hi, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you're all doing very well, that August is treating you right. It is all good for me. I have been alone in the house for the past couple of weeks, so I have been able to move on intensely with some of my work. And yeah, I hope to keep it going. Bangs, yes, I got bangs, so let's get that out of the way. And yeah, I have a few things to show you in this episode. I have 2 pattern releases to announce. One of them I am wearing, and the other one is a project that you have never seen on the podcast, so that's exciting. And I will also show you 2 work in progress, one of which is, well, both of them are almost finished actually, but yeah, one is a new one. So yeah, we might be interrupted by the mailman because it's supposed to bring me food and yarn. So if the yarn arrives, maybe I'll show you that because it's gonna be a pretty one. But yeah, I think we can start right away. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below. So if you want to skip anything, feel free to look at that and jump ahead. I also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media. I am Yarnflakes pretty much everywhere, and my patterns for sale on Ravelry. I am in the process of putting them on the Love Crafts, now it's Love Crafts website as well, but it's taking a few days, and yeah, I need to check on that. Yay! I'm going to start with what I'm wearing, which is a new design that I just released on Ravelry, and you have seen it as I was making it. It's the Katie Shoe sweater. So, ta-da! I don't think you've seen it finished, but you definitely saw the lace, because it's a bottom-up drop shoulder sweater with A-line shaping, so you have some decreases here. It has some fold lines because it was folded for a while, so apologies for that. But you can see it's a nice A-line. Then you knit in around until the armhole, you separate for front and back. The neckline is a little bit more open than what I usually do. I wanted that, so that is like a lighter end of summer garment, and as you can see, it's nice and roundish. You pick up for the sleeves, you knit them in the round. The sleeves are pretty fitted, but they're straight, and you end with this little cuff detail, which is also on the neckline. And it's pretty simple to do. There is a video tutorial that I made for this little cross here. It's very straightforward, and it makes this really nice detail in the twisted ribbing. 3 needle bind off for the shoulders, I forgot to say that. There are some short rows to shape, you can see them here, and yeah, just so you can see it's the same. And I'm gonna give you a close look, not at my stomach if I can avoid that, but at the lace. And how can I do that? Difficult. There it is. Yes, I have lots of beauty spots all over my body, which is quite dangerous, but you know, that's how things are. Yay! You can see the lace around. Showing lace and showing skin. That's the best combo for YouTube, right? But yeah, it's a fairly simple pattern. It's easy to modify in case you want to change the shape of the body, the shape of the sleeves. They have some decreases along the way. And yeah, I really like it. It's so nice and flowy, and the lace detail really is absolutely beautiful. It's not a difficult lace. It has basic stitches, but you do need to place markers, which I indicate you to do, and so that you easily keep track of the repeats. And yeah, this is how it looks. Did I say everything construction-wise? I think I did. It has some ease, not a lot, it's not really a boxy. Yeah. I have knitted my sample with Jardin de Laine yarn, which is a natural dyer from France. She is also the dyer behind Artemis Yarn, which you might know of. She makes crazy, colorful acid dye yarns, but she also has Jardin de Laine, which is a garden of yarn, literally, which is going up and down, is getting me out of my breath, which is naturally dyed, and this is naturally dyed with Katie shoe, which is wood, if I remember correctly. Yes, it's a type of root, and it makes this beautiful caramel brown pinkish color, which I think is really nice, and it's like it's a neutral but not too neutral, and I don't think it washes me out too much, which is a bit of a thing with these type of color usually for me, considering how pale my skin tone is, but I really like this one. I used her classic sock base, which is a superwash merino nylon sock yarn, and it works really well for this sweater because it has a stunning definition, it has lots of strength and bounce, and it's a little bit drapey but not too much. I would advise against going for very drapey yarn. You can see that my testers version on Ravelry, they all have used a variety of yarns, and we found that the ones that were too drapey kind of had an issue with the shoulder if your shoulders were narrow. So everything that has like camel in it, cashmere, alpaca, kind of avoid that maybe. And superwash merino if it's really bouncy and not very firm. Prefer firm yarns, so like sock yarns, merino that are very twisted. More rustic yarns would look absolutely amazing. There has been some testers version with sorry, kicking the tripod, with Holst, and it made the lace a little bit fuzzy, but you could still see it, and it's a very interesting lace to work in a rustic yarn. This, as you can see, is very crisp and in your face lace, but the versions with Holst yarn, super soft yarn, I really like them. They're kind of like blurred, kind of like a blurred effect, and it just looks really well. You can still see all the details, but at the same time it looks really natural, and I really like that. So basically what happens if you choose an overly drapey yarn, the neckline might be too wide for you. So if that happens to you, you have a few solutions, is to either pick up less stitches on the back and shoulders, or pick up the normal amount and decrease while knitting a little bit more rounds for the neckline. It's very interesting construction wise how this sweater works for people that have narrow shoulders. So as you can see, it's not my case. I have quite broad shoulders for considering my bust measurement, and it's not gonna get any better because when I work out it's just my shoulders that poof. But yeah, so basically this sweater is not a boxy, so it's a drop shoulder, but the width of the drop here is not huge, which means that you don't have a ton of material here basically. But what that means is that I have shoulders, so basically my shoulders tend to pull the fabric a little bit in, and it stays put here, which makes the neckline not too open. My bra straps are around here, to give you an idea. So for me this neckline is really good. If you have narrow shoulder and your yarn is drapey, basically nothing, narrow shoulders or shoulders that drop, basically the fabric tends to slide off your shoulders naturally. I guess you know that because it's a common issue with people with small shoulders compared to their bust, and that way the neckline tends to be a bit big. If your yarn is firm, that's not a problem, but if it's too drapey, pick up less stitches and decrease so that you tighten everything up, and that way it works really well. I have a couple of testers who were able to tighten the neckline very easily because they used the yarn. One is a camel and silk blend, and one was superwash merino that was really flexible basically, and they were able to fix the neckline quite easily. But yeah, in general I'd avoid too drapey yarn for this pattern. It's very interesting, this shoulder thing, because I really like this shape of sweater when they don't have too much ease here, and so I'm considering how it could work for narrow shoulders, because I'm considering working some sort of a piece here with short rows, basically to just lift the thing inward. Yeah, I have to experiment with that. But so this is my advice yarn wise. Like I said, sock yarns, you can see it works really well for this, and it still has nice drape and everything, and it's really nice and soft, and I keep moving everywhere, but I just want to give you a general view of the sweater. Ooh, mailman is here, so I'm gonna pause and be right back, hopefully with pretty yarn. I gave you false hopes, there's no yarn, not yet. It's going to come with the smaller mailman, I assume. Have a very multi-tasking postal system in France. But yes, so here is the sweater. So K-Tissue, it's available on Ravelry. You can check all my testers versions to get different ideas of how it looks with different yarns, of the modifications that they did. There are some who made striped version, color block version, which was really fun, but this is how mine looks, and I really like it. It's currently 20% off with the code K-Tissue to thank those of you who will get it for the release. It's going to be the code K-Tissue, and it's going to be working until Sunday. So yeah, I think that's it for this sweater. I really like it. I made mine a bit long so I can wear it over jeans or shorts and normal pants like I am right now, but you could make it a little bit cropped and wear it over dresses, which would be super cool for the mid-season that's coming. And yeah, I believe I have said everything about K-Tissue. I really hope you like it. Yeah. I also had released another pattern at the beginning of the month, which is a pair of socks, and it's been quite a while since I designed a pair of socks. I really like designing socks, but yeah, I'm aware that they don't get as much love as other types of pattern, but I got this yarn from By Night Dyes, which is Natalie, which is another natural dyer. It looks like we're about natural dyeing for this episode. She lives in Belgium, and she is absolutely fantastic. So her brand name is By Night Dyes. She also makes bags, and she also eco-prints fabrics. She is a lovely person, and you can find her in a lot of yarn festivals and markets around France, Belgium, and the Netherlands as well. She often goes there, because obviously Belgium and the Netherlands are kind of close cousins. But yeah, I really like her work, and I had this skein of her, which was, so it was a skein of her full moon base, which is 100% BFL, and she dyed it with henna, and it's just the most beautiful brick red. I absolutely adore this color. You're seeing it a little bit lighter than what it is in real life, but it's a stunning color. And I had this skein, and I instantly knew what I wanted to do with them, which was a nice pair of textured socks. So for me, BFL is good as a sock yarn. I'm not too harsh on my sock, and BFL has long staples, so it's strong enough for me, even if it doesn't have any nylon. This yarn has like a lot of twist, and it's strong, and when you knit it as a tight gauge, for me it doesn't cause any issue for socks, and it has the best stitch definition. So these are the Alfabeto socks. So Alfabeto means alphabet in Spanish. It's the name of a song that I really like from Jepe. If you look for Jepe, Alfabeto, it's a song. I believe the band is Peruvian. I might be saying something wrong, but I think they're from South America and not Spain. But it's a song I really like, and so it means alphabet in Spanish. And I thought that these kind of look like a sampler, kind of like the cross-stitch experiments, making different texture and using the alphabet and the numerical suite. The process behind the naming of my patterns is quite something, isn't it? But yes, this is the idea. It's a very simple pair of socks. Some of my testers were complete beginners. It was their first sock and they did really well and they really liked the pattern. So I'm happy with that. It looks like I was able to get a right sock recipe that caters to beginners as well. So if you've never knit socks but you would like to, these could be a good first project if you don't want to have a kind of plain stockinette sock. So you have to a little bit of ribbing here that merges into the front pattern. On the center you have this chevron pearl motif, which are really simple, and it just kind of makes you want to get to the next point. And on either side you have a very simple lacy little square here. It's simple eyelets and decreases, nothing complicated, on the pearl background, and you have these tiny bubbles. And I know I said I didn't like bubbles, and I still don't like bubbles, but I like them. I told you I liked them when they made sense, when they were part of a general motif, which is why I kind of like them in lace as well, and when they're like representing something with another kind of stitch pattern. If it's just bubble, like if I were to put bubbles here randomly, not my thing. But like this, I do like bubbles, and I especially like these ones. So I have made a video tutorial on these ones. They're very simple bubbles that are worked over 3 rows. You don't need to turn your work, you don't need to go back and forth, you just knit round and round and you do something different over 3 rows to create these bubbles. And they're pretty flat little bubbles, so they're nice for socks. I have worn these in boots and the texture doesn't bother me, because if you look at it from like horizontally, you see it just bumps a little bit, but no more than cables would, because they're subtle bubbles. But I haven't worn them on tight shoes. I don't know how they would do if I were to wear more like city shoes. I haven't tried it. I usually wear my socks in boots, so I guess that's good for that. And yes, so these are the texture. There are 2 heels options, like in almost all of my sock patterns. I give 2 heel options. There's the heel flap and gusset, which is my favorite heel because it just fits me better and I just think it looks really good. But I also give instruction to make a German short row if you prefer that. And yeah, there are links to tutorial for all the techniques. Like I said, I did a tutorial for the little bubble, and yeah, they are absolutely lovely. I think it's my favorite, this sock design that I ever made, and I personally really like them. So in case you do too and you haven't seen them when I released them, they are now available on Ravelry as well. I hope you can't hear my dogs fighting. They're on their nerves because of the mailman. that's right, you bark at him because he didn't bring me my yarn. But yeah, so these were like, we kind of color matching again. These are the 2 designs that I released for the month of August. Yeah, I hope you like them, and I'm going to move on to works in progress, and I'm going to show you a sweater that I had grammar, that I showed you in the previous episode that I had just started, which is a sweater I am test knitting for Sari Nordlund, which is about to release the most beautiful headband ever. I am waiting for that headband. Basically, so I'm test knitting a sweater for her, and I can see in her Ravelry group that she has a test knit for a headband that has like the most beautiful twisted cable motif in it, and I really want to make it. That's the yarn that I ordered and that I'm waiting on, which is, it's ridiculous because I couldn't decide on the color, so I ordered 2 skeins. But it's fine because the headband should only require half of a skein, so I'm gonna make 2 headbands and then I'm gonna make a design with the rest of the yarn. I'm going everywhere and I'm telling you so many different stuff that I bet you're completely lost, but this is how this podcast goes. So, back on track. I am test knitting a sweater pattern for Sari Nordlund, whose designs I really like, and I am test knitting the Sora. Sora, I don't know if she did it on purpose, the Sora sweater, which is an oversized, super comfy sweater with brioche details. So as you can see, I have completed the body, the 2 sleeves, the hem, which is a 2-color brioche hem. I'll get back on how it looks in a bit, and the one of the brioche cuffs. So this is the brioche motif for the sleeve cuff, and I really like it. It's really simple to do. It was my first time making brioche with increases and decreases, this type of thing. Really simple. Really loved the decrease tutorial that she links in the pattern, and I really like how it looks. Really nice. So as you can see, like, the sleeves are nice and bulky, and then you shrink them a little bit. I'm not sure about how long this is. Usually when I shrink cuffs, I kind of like it to shrink all at once, but the instruction have you make the decreases over quite a few rows, and it looks okay. I think it makes it sit better, basically, because the cuff is tighter, and basically it's gonna sit tighter on my wrist, and this is gonna puff up nicely because of those extra rows here. But yeah, I really like how it looks. So as you can see, I'm just about to start decreasing on the second sleeves, and then I'll just need to make the neckline, which is going to be the same as the hem, so a standard 2-color brioche without motif. I absolutely love this. It's going to be so wearable. I'm going to love it. It's so comfy and I like it. I love the shape of sweater. It's absolutely brilliant. So the sweater uses fingering weight yarns. I am using, this is hedgerow yarns or something, because I've been knitting 2 tweed sweaters at the same time, and basically I've been using the same base but sold by 2 different dyers in the UK. So hedgerow yarns was for something else that you haven't seen, but you might have seen it on Instagram because I did a call for testers not so long ago. But this is Mothy and the Squid, which is a beautiful dyer from the UK, and she dyes like a ton of colorways inspired by nature, insects, and she always has a picture of her inspiration, the flower, the insect that inspired her, like the butterfly, and the yarn next to it, and it's absolutely lovely. But she sells a natural tweed base, which I really like. I love tweed yarns. Look at this. I mean, it's brilliant. So it's 80% support merino, 85-15, I think. I think it's 85-15 with Donegal nep to make the little tweed flex, and I really like it. And the contrast color that I'm using is leftovers from my Tolosa. These are Don't know, sweater pattern that I designed, and it's Maison Corlaine, which are French indie dyer, Belle Époque yarn. So it's a superwash merino silk blend in Sibyl, which is a beautiful, beautiful brick red. Yeah, brick red. I was afraid that I was going to run out of my contrast color, and that's because this was lost. So I have done the hem shorter than what I would like, and I'm going to make the cuffs and the neck ribbing as high, because in her sweater Sari has it quite high. I think I'm gonna like that, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna experiment and see how high I want the neckline basically. And then if I have yarn left over, which I probably will because I found this again, I basically had 3 separate balls of leftover and I lost one of them, which I found again and turned into this little mini just a bit. Once I had done all of that, I think I'm going to undo the cast off, the bind off here, and continue a little bit. It's probably going to be annoying undoing a brioche cast off, but no, it's going to be fine because the yarns are so slick that I can easily pick up the stitches, I think. Now, what's going on here? It's really, really strongly going on the bias. I don't mind it. It kind of looks cool, to be honest. I'm secretly hoping that when I do it on a neckline, it goes the other way. I don't know a lot about biasing. If you don't know what it is, it's basically the way when you're knitting in a round, sometimes your knitting tends to go in a diagonal. It happens with ribbings, and I didn't know this, but it happens also with brioche, which makes sense. I think it has to do with the fact that you keep going back and forth with the yarn when you create a ribbing or brioche ribbing pattern. And I don't think there's much I can do about it. It mostly depends on the type of yarn that you're using that are doing it or not. In case you know, like, I don't mind it, so I'm not going to fight for it. I think it looks nice. It definitely looks intended. It's going to be mirrored on the neckline, so that's cool, you know. And the sweater is so fluffy and bulky that it's going to merge quite easily. But if you know anything about technically how it works, if you know any resources, any articles about knitting that goes on the bias when you are not doing it on purpose, I'd be interested in hearing how it works and if you can prevent it, how. I'm just curious about it, but for this I kind of like it, and it kind of looks cool. And so you can see it's brioche, so it's reversible, and yay! So this is the Sora pullover. The deadline was end of September, if I'm not mistaken, so I have time to finish it. I think it's going to be done quickly, and I really like it, and I'm eager to block it and to wear it because I've tried it on and it's oh so comfy, so comfy. So yeah, showing you again this lovely brioche detail. Yeah, I don't know if I'll show you again once I finished it, or if I'm just going to wait until Sari releases it so that I can show it to you when the pattern is actually out. But yeah, really happy to have taken the plunge on this test knit, because I kind of did it on a whim, and I am really happy with the project, and I think the pullover is gonna get tons of wear. So yeah, I'm going to move on to my last whip, which is a new design that I'm working on, and it's almost finished. I have sent a call for testers yesterday. I'm recording this a bit in advance, so we're the week before you see it. And yeah, so far I haven't gotten a lot of answers, so I hope I'm gonna be able to find enough testers, but I'll probably post it on Instagram as well. So I'm trying to arrange it because you'll see that you'll see why I have to arrange it. It's a little bit of a weird thing. So I had 3 skeins of Black Yarn's Tamar Luster blend DK, which is a blend of a ton of different wools. It has Teeswater, Wensleydale, a ton. You can look on Ravelry the specifications for this yarn and the percentages of all the fibers that are in it. And it's a really cool yarn. It comes in 4-ply and DK. And I bought 3 skeins on sale last year in the Kenzie colorway, which is this sort of dusty purpley pink. More on the purple side of dusty pinks. I had the intention of making a shawl. I had the intention of making a shawl, but I changed my mind because I had this design that I submitted for publication and that wasn't accepted, unfortunately. But I really liked it and I really wanted to make it, and I've been thinking what yarn could I use for it, and then I remembered this yarn and figured it is actually perfect for it. So how does it look? Okay, it looks awful. So it's not blocked, it's not anything, but it's a top-down raglan, which starts with a folded neckline that it's not seamed. You fold it as you knit it. I have recorded a video tutorial for it. Then you work the raglan. The body and sleeves have quite a bit of positive ease. You can see on the raglan that there's a little bit of a gartery detail that then goes into 2 fake seams under the arms here, all the way down until you reach the hem with 2x2 ribs. Then, what is this? You pick up stitches here on the side and on the other side, come here, and on the other side, and you work these garter rib bands. So if you don't know what garter rib is, you basically knit 1 purl on one row and knit all on the other row, or you can purl all on the other row, but why would you do that? And then I think you understand what's happening. So basically you have these 2 bands on the front of the sweater, and you can make a pretty knot on the waist. Ta-da! Ta-da! Does that work in English? I don't know. Basically, revelation. So it looks much better when it's worn. I swear. And yeah, this is the CLOSCA top. CLOSCA, which means shell or skull head, or this like a enclosure, like the shell of an egg, the shell of a nut, and also head and skull in Occitan, which is the regional language where I live in the southwest of France. We are in the Occitanie region. And yeah, so this is a really fun little knot that you can wear on the waist. So as you can see, mine is pretty cropped, not too much, but you can make it longer. Obviously it would be really easy. It would be really easy. Then you pick up for the sleeves, and I knit mine short, just a little bit, and then basically you knit a bunch of ribbing that you break here and there so that it's easy to fold along these lines, and it just stays put once you fold it, because you can see here this purl edging. It just stays nicely like this. So yeah, I'm going to use this as a layering piece over dresses, over long sleeve t-shirts for autumn and winter. It's knit in DK wax, so like I said, with Black Yarn's Tamar Luster blend DK. but you could knit it in like a summery. I know there's a lot of DK cotton blends, DK linen blends, and I think it would be really cool as a summer top as well. So yeah, I am currently working on the second sleeve. I think I'm gonna have enough. Basically, I only had 3 skeins, which was about 660 meters, and I panicked as I was knitting on the body and thought I wouldn't have enough. So I ordered an extra skein, which cost me 33 euros because of the shipping and because of what is happening with the pounds at the moment. It looks like it's quite expensive for Euro people to buy pounds suddenly. Well, it always has been, but more so now, I have the impression, because 33 euros for a skein. Now you can see why I bought these on sale originally. But yeah, I panicked and I ordered an extra skein, which should arrive sometime soon. But I don't think I'm gonna need it in the end, which is good, because it's definitely not going to be the same dye lot with being years apart. But it's okay, I'll make like I've been considering making a hat with it, or maybe mittens. I'll see. I have about a bazillion mittens ideas. Yeah. Too many mittens kills the mittens? Does it? Does it? I don't know. The CLOSCA top / sweater. And yeah, so I really want to release this in October, so it's a DK weight, so it knits up so fast. Unbelievable. So you're gonna see this next week. So in case you're interested in testing it, you can send me a message on Instagram or Ravelry, and maybe we can arrange something, because it doesn't look like I'm gonna get many testers for this, so there will probably be spots open still when you see these videos. So yeah, this is what I have been working on, and it's almost finished, so I'm quite looking forward to blocking it and taking pictures. I have tried it over one of my linen dresses yesterday, and I really liked how it looks. Really liked it. So yeah, I think that's it. This is all I've been working on. Well, no, but this is all I'm showing you. I have finished a pair of mittens, I have finished a sweater design, I have started a pair of simple socks that maybe I'll show you at some point. But yeah, this is the most interesting projects that are in stages, but I can show them to you. So yeah, I think that's it for this new episode. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed. Look for the K tissue sweater if you like it. And yeah, have a lovely time, and I will see you probably soon at the beginning of September. Bye!